Welcome to Happily Ever Afters, where love doesn't stop at romance. Join us as we share the tales of everyday magic and celebrate life's sweetest moments. Hear inspiring accounts of love, intimacy, and pure joy as we uncover the secrets behind true devotion and partnerships that really work. Brace yourself for a full-on heart-melting. Here's your host, Carlos Clemente.
Hey, America. Welcome back to Happily Ever Afters. Today is a special show. It's kind of like my Happily Ever Afters. This is something that it's a dream. It's a dream. I didn't think this would ever happen, and I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but here we are. I have some special guests today. First, I want to show you a photo. These young ladies are my daughters. On the left, we have Francesca. In the middle, we have Leah. And on the right, we have Angelica. These are my three Happily Ever Afters. And with great, great pleasure, two of these young ladies are here. I have Francesca and Leah Clemente here. Thank you. All right. Say hi to America. Come on, speak up.
I said hi. Hi.
Okay. All right. The reason I'm having these young ladies on is, one, I wanted to create this special moment that I will never forget, and hopefully they'll never forget. Number two, they are embarking on their own journeys now, and I want them to share what they're trying to do with their life. Francesca is a graduate of Cal State Fullerton, currently working on her master's, and she'll tell you what she's doing. And then Leah is a recent graduate of UC Irvine. So they'll tell you a little bit about what they've done. And let's start with Francesca.
Oh, okay. Hi. So my name's Francesca. And like my dad just said, I graduated 2 years ago, technically, from Cal State Fullerton with a bachelor's in liberal studies with an emphasis in elementary education. And I took a gap year to work with kids and get more experience doing that. And now I am back in school getting my master's in curriculum instruction and my teaching credential for multiple subjects, or as we know, elementary school subjects.
All right. Leah?
Hi, I'm Leah. I just graduated last week from UC Irvine with my bachelor's in art. And right now I want to focus on just making more art so I can eventually go back to school for my MFA.
Okay. All right. I'll go back to Francesca here for a moment. Francesca, she's doing the teaching thing and everything, but all my girls draw. And I want to show one sample before she gets into some of other stuff. I want to show my favorite piece of work that she ever did. So let's look at that. There you go. She did this in high school, and every time I see it, it just makes me smile. And I don't know what she was thinking when she did it. And I asked her one day what she's thinking. She said, "Oh, it was a art project." But do you have any feelings about that?
I think at the time, well, even now, I mean, I just like the way lips look and I like drawing them. And so I thought it would just be a cool thing to do for art because it's something I like to draw. I don't draw as much as my sisters do. Like, I'm not as talented as they are with like making actual people, but I can draw like small parts of people. So I like to draw eyes and mouths and eyebrows and even ears sometimes because I like the shading parts. And so I think this art project was just for, I think it was for the patterns in the background, but I decided to make the mouth the main point of it just because it was just something really fun for me to draw, and I like the shading and getting all the little details in there to make it look realistic.
Okay, let's move on to now. You're working on your master's, and there's some projects you did in school, and I've shared this with a lot of people, and the reaction has been very good. Why don't you show us what you've done?
Okay. So this was for my literacy class, and we had to create a children's book. And it could be on anything that I wanted it to be on. It just had to be informational. And so I decided, well, at first, my first idea was, let me do like the top 10 sleepiest animals, because I like to sleep. And so kids like to sleep. They might want to know, oh, what sleeps more than me, or what sleeps 24 hours out of the day. Like, that's crazy. But that didn't work out because of other things I had to include in this. So I chose elephants, which are my favorite animal. And yeah, it was like something that I was really passionate about, and something that I know a lot about too off the top of my head. So I knew that it would be a fun thing to include in the classroom when I have my own classroom, and I can like show the kids like, this is what I did as I was still learning to be your teacher. And then now we can create something even bigger possibly and like grow on it.
Now, have you had an opportunity to show kids your book yet, or anything?
I did, yeah. So I went back to my first placement for student teaching, and with fifth graders in Fullerton. I don't know how much I can say on that, but I showed some of them because they knew that I loved elephants, and that was kind of a recurring thing throughout the student teaching. And so when I showed them that, it was kind of like this big, like, oh my goodness, like, you made a book, that's so crazy. And even though it's like, it's for preferably like up to third graders, so it's far below their reading level, they still really enjoyed it, and they liked seeing the pictures that I drew for it, because I had to include only original images, and that's difficult when I don't go to the safari all the time. So I was like, okay, well, I have to just draw pictures of elephants now, and that's what I did for like, I think a whole day. I just spent drawing and watercoloring. So yeah.
And what was their reaction? I mean, was it something that they wanted to know more about, or they just thought it was cool?
Well, I think like all kids, there's going to be a range in reactions. And so some kids were like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then they looked through it and they were like, okay, I'm done. Like, good for you, but what's the next thing I can do? And then some kids were really interested. And even like you've said, other people have asked you, what am I going to do with it next? And I can do, I mean, very simple. I made it with Canva. It's just a PowerPoint that can be printed out. But I definitely think that because the process is so easy, it would lead me to make more. I'm just not sure what I want to make it for yet, because I like for there to be a message behind the story, and so I want to make sure that I can fully develop that first before just writing any story on anything.
So what's your passion with the kids? I mean, I know you had your little sister, but what is your passion of what is your joy of working with the children? What gives you that happily ever after moment when you're with the children?
Well, obviously I want kids to love learning, and that's why I went into teaching. But aside from just working with kids general as like a babysitter or a nanny or anything, I think it's just being around kids. I love like the energy that they bring and just their youthfulness and innocence. It's probably like just more refreshing than being around adults all the time sometimes. Just because to them it's like anything can be a game, so it's like any moment you have can be an opportunity for something new or for imagination or creativity. And so I just like having that free space to do that. And so I feel like in the classroom I'll be able to implement that creativity and want to know more, but through guided education.
Who are you using for inspiration to do this?
A lot of my inspiration comes from a lot of my professors, just because they've been great teachers to me so far and have filled me with a lot of knowledge, but also Grandma, so my Padre's mom, just because she's very strong and she's been through a lot in her life, and right now she needs more help than she did before, and I want to be as strong as she was or is, so that she can know that, you know, like, I'm okay in the world, even, like, eventually when she goes. But just so that she knows that I'm working hard so that I can make her proud as well.
Oh, very sweet. Leah. Leah started with anime. And how old were you when you started, Leah?
I was about 11 or 10.
And what got you, were you possessed? Because I'll tell you, when we would be in a restaurant or whatever, all these girls, if there was a blank piece of paper around, and they would say, Daddy, I need your pen. And they were doodling and everything, and I'd have to remind them, hey, you have to eat. Leah, what drove your passion to art?
Well, I started drawing because my other friends drew, so I just picked it up too. But, well, for anime, I think just watching a lot of anime and wanting to kind of replicate the same feeling, but with my own, like, inspirations, that's kind of what drew me to that, or it kept me going with that. But, like, other types of art, like more like fine art, I really got more into it when I started college.
Remember, your sister, your sister, Angelica, remember she was drawing, and I know you used to go with her. Remember when she used to have that artist helping her learn things? Mm-hmm. And I felt that was an influence as well on you in developing your style and whatever, because your style is different from your sister's. That's one thing I do notice. So let's look at some of your art. There we go. This one has a name. What is it?
This one is called Smyrna Diner, and it's based off of a picture that from when the three of us went to Smyrna, Delaware to visit our grandma. Yeah, it was just kind of like, it was around when we first got there. We just went to get breakfast together, and I had a small little, like, digital camera, and I took a picture. And this was actually for a class, and we could just paint anything we wanted to. So, yeah, I just chose that picture because I liked the memory, and also I just felt like the composition was really interesting.
Tell us a little bit more about the composition as you're talking about it.
The composition? Well, it's kind of like most of, like, the action, I guess, or detail is happening in, like, the top third of the painting. Like, one of my professors, she compared it to, like, a Degas painting where the, like, foreground and middle ground will mostly be kind of empty, but maybe there'll be some, like, ballerinas towards the top doing something. And I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, but, like, it's pretty still, like, with, like, you don't see any, like, hands or anything in most of it until you get to the people that are quite smaller compared to the other things. Well,
I didn't know. I figured that my mother was one of the people. I didn't know the other one was Francesca. In that, so it struck me every time they do something. I just marvel, because I always told them, whatever you do, take it to the next level, and they've done that, and I'm so proud of that. I just keep blah 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 blah, but I can't help it. I'm just so proud right now, and I'm so glad to have them here. And I just want them to tell their story, just of how they've, hopefully I've had some influence, but, just what have they taken everything that they've absorbed and to share it with everybody right now, to just so they can move forward. So hopefully this will be a stepping stone for them to their next level. Leah has another picture that it has a deep meaning that I didn't know because of you just explained it. It's the photo with two people. Okay,
This one?
explain.
This one was also for class. And so like the prompt for that assignment was like risk taking. So like one of the like major risks that you can see is that I really left a lot of the canvas untouched. Like I used a little amount of paint, and I left a lot of it like sketchier looking, like kind of unfinished. Yeah, and the kind of story behind this one, I wanted the space in between the two people to feel charged. I guess like there's a chance for them to like turn to each other, but there's also the chance for them to just never interact at all.
Yeah. Who are the two people?
Oh, that's you and Mama? And I used like photos of them from before they had even met as the reference for this to kind of, I guess, help back up the story that I had.
Yeah, she came to me one day and said, I need an old picture of you and Mom. What's an old picture? Of you standing, kind of standing. And she picked this. That's the first time she's ever drawn me. She's never, you haven't done any family member, have you, until then?
Never in a painting.
Right. So when I saw it, I wanted to know why the space, you know? And she told me at that time in your life, you were strangers. In this painting, you said it was very simple, but there's a lot of detail in it. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit? Even though there's all this detail, but yet you still talk about space.
Yeah. I think because the detail is, I guess, more confined to like the face or the clothes. Like it's not kind of overpowering like in the last painting. Like there was a lot of detail everywhere, but I really wanted the detail to, I guess, hold more meaning in this one. Yeah.
Which meaning? Which meaning were you trying to come across with?
I think just who these people are, like more than just you and Mama, but like to people that don't know, like these are like people that have like experiences and lives of their own.
Happily ever afters. That's what this show is about. This is a happily ever afters moment for me. I'm trying not to get emotional about this because it's running very, very deep right now. Okay? I've said it before. These girls know how proud I am. Everybody knows who my daughters are. I'm always pictures, pictures, pictures. I remember before I had children and people would always, hey, here's a picture of my baby or this and that. Yeah. Well, until I had these guys, I didn't get that. I didn't understand what that meant. And it means even more now because they're young women. You know, I see pictures when they were babies and things like that, and you remember that, but I don't picture them that way anymore. I just see two beautiful young ladies who are super talented. I hope that something inside me has helped propel them to do what they're doing, but at the same time, I'm not taking credit for it. I'm not taking credit for any of my daughter's talents. All right? It's their talent. All I'm here for is to help support you and do what I can to help you be successful. And, you know, I can't say I love you enough. I tell you that all the time. All right? I tell you that all the time. And I really want you to believe it. I want you to believe it. You have my heart. This is the reason I've worked so hard in my life. Is for you three girls. For you three girls, that's what's driven me all this time. You know? Now you're getting ready to go on your own. And it's scary for me because I have to let you go. I have to let you go. You know, I just hope you remember me and come back. Okay? Come back. Don't forget. You know, if you notice, Francesca calls me Padre. She calls me Papa. They've been doing that all this time. At first, when they started doing it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But I do. I do. And I really don't know what else to say at this point other than thank you. Thank you for being you, both of you. You know, thank you for agreeing to be with me on this. All right, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just overwhelmed right now. There is so much pride. There's so much emotion, and I'm trying to hold back some tears. Okay, you know, I am. You know, I look at your book and I say, oh, I hope she does another one. I hope she does another one. We got one more piece of art to show, which I don't understand, but you do. But you need to explain it. All right? So before we do anything else, go ahead and let's bring up this last piece of art and kind of explain what it is.
So this one, I did it for my abstract art class. So in that class, we were only doing abstract art. And this is, like, I guess this one's like the most different piece I've ever done. So essentially it's like just 8 feet by 5 foot raw canvas, and there's just 2 like white squares with like circles of like built up paint and paste on it. And like the idea I had behind it is that I wanted to expand what an artwork is, like beyond just like a square object on a wall that you look at but you don't really touch. So by making it so big, I'm able to, or like I'm inviting the audience to like get closer by stepping on that square on the bottom, and like touching it. And like they could either, or they can step on it, and they could also touch the one that's on the wall. And it's kind of funny because even though I explained that in class, people are still hesitant. Like even though they're other artists and they get it, but like they're still hesitant to like
destroy it.
Yeah, like destroy it or like mess it up. Yeah, so when we had our like end of quarter showcase, I displayed it on the floor, like right at the entrance, so people had to step on it. Like they didn't have a choice if they wanted to come in. Yeah.
Give me a happily ever after that put a smile on your face.
So my happily ever after, well, if I'm being 100% honest, the one thing that always puts a smile on my face is Josh Hutcherson. I love of my life. But a real happily ever after is, what was it? Oh, just like I said earlier, like my passion for learning and wanting to implement that and encourage that in education instead of just memorizing and preparing for a test. I want kids and even adults, anybody of any age, to feel inspired to learn through anything that they go through any experience, through any program, through any bad day, through anything, we're always learning and we're always trying to make it better for the next day. And so if you have that passion for learning and you have that passion for, I can do better, be better, make change in the world if you want to, through learning and through knowledge, and even just through sharing the knowledge that you have, any cultural knowledge, any background that you come with is fine. You don't have to be like a Yale graduate to be considered smart and have knowledge. Like, you can be from anywhere and have knowledge. So that would be my happily ever after, just people understanding that the knowledge that you come with is enough, and the want to learn is like something that everybody should hopefully have.
Leah?
My happily ever after, I think, just like is art in general, just like all types of art. I think being in art school, it was really exciting, just being with a bunch of different people and making art together. Like, even if we're not making like the same thing, but just doing it together and sharing it together. And I like all of the like possibilities that art holds, like in different practices and different mediums, and you can like combine them. I guess like for the last piece that I talked about, I combine like ideas I learned in a performance art class with my painting. So yeah, I just like the art is infinite, and you can just like make anything. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank both of you.
Welcome, Padre.
All right. This is my happily ever afters moment, people. All right. I can't say anything else that will define it better. Okay, folks, we've come to the end of another great show. But before we do that, Francesca, if someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
If anybody wants to get in touch with me, you can hit the email down below, franclemente58@gmail.com. That's my main email, so that's the one I check most often. If you are getting in touch, just let me know that you found me through my dad's podcast. So it's not just a random email from somebody somewhere. But yeah, just that email would be the fastest way. Also, if you're interested in my book, I do have PDF copies that I can make from Canva if you really feel inspired to include it in your classroom, or even just with your kids at home, and even yourself if you want to make a book and you're like, where can I start from someone who's a beginner? Like, how did she do it? And then create your own. That is perfectly fine. Still just email me and we can see what we can do.
Leah?
Hi. You can email me at oneleahgc@gmail.com. That's the best way to find me. Just also let me know like that you found it through this podcast too.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Remember this. Remember this about this show. It's supposed to be about love, health, and happily ever afters. That is what the most important things in life are. If we can focus on those things, our lives will be a lot better. That's what I have to say. So, until our next show, thank you very much, and happily ever afters, everybody. This show isn't only about your stories, it's also about mine. I hope to learn from these captivating tales of love to enhance my own role as a partner, heartwarming stories, or inspiration to enrich your own relationship.